We were just talking about a Klarman letter in the state of the world, and I can't imagine anyone who's got more tentacles, that's a terrible thing to say someone has, but more tentacles in so many different places, opening hotels constantly in every country around the world. Does the future look daunting to you or positive to you at this point globally?
I think both, if you will. I mean, if you think about the positive side for a second, people love to travel today more than ever. And young people particularly would put travel very high on their list of things that they've got to do. When I was growing up, it used to be sort of a discretionary luxury, if you will. Now, forget it. I'm going to take my vacation. And I'm going to do that before I buy a car, maybe before I get an apartment, whatever. And that's happening all around the world. Of course, we talk about it in the sense of people want experiences more than they want stuff, and I think there's real truth to that.
Brian Moynihan just said the same thing. He was just on with us and said that based on what they see with people who are using Bank of America credit cards and beyond, people are still spending more like a 5% spending growth versus 8% that we saw last year. But he says it is going to experiences. That's kind of what's happening.
That's travel. It's food and dining, basically.
Because the world's ending next year, I better do this?
Well, I think no, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it partly is Instagram. And other social media where the consumption we now share and get a brag about in a way is the stuff we take pictures of.
By the way, there are like eco lodges and places where people are trying to go before the world ends, right? I mean, there are locations.
Have you picked one?
The Maldives are the Maldives are a place where people go in part because they think that 30 years from now you might not be able to go there.
Could be.
But talking about being able to go somewhere or not, one of the questions we've talked about this past couple of weeks on our set. Executives constantly, amid what's gone on with in China and elsewhere, talk about, can I go to China? Can I go to this place? Can I go to that place? Am I going to get arrested? Is there something going to happen to me? Have you felt that at all?
No. And maybe partly because I'm not going to stop and think about it. The world has got plenty of risks in various places, including if you stay home. For goodness sake. So you got to live your life and get around and do things. The China story, of course, is a little bit complicated because we've got the trade and we've got a number of very high-profile events that have happened. But the China story is still a very constructive one in the travel space. We're not in a business which is super sensitive from a national security perspective. And so I don't think we're going to be in anybody's crosshairs.
What's the vacancy rates like in China right now for the hotels you own?
Hotels are doing great. They're trading at 80% occupancy.
If something good were to come from this brouhaha, could you see business actually being better after it's all said and done for you?
Which brouhaha?
The China brouhaha, the
trade wars, the Huawei situation.
I mean, in China too, you've got risks on their economy because of trade.
Yes.
You've got also a shift towards consumerism, which is helpful for us. Both of those things are sort of working their way through. I actually think the other brouhaha, I've heard some folks say, maybe we should just get a small recession now and get it over with. Because then we could stop worrying about the length of the cycle.
That's crazy. That's let's raise interest rates to the point where we really got a lot of ammo in case. Let's cause a recession, but have plenty of interest rates cuts.
Could well be very mild and not very long lasting.
So the hacking thing that we have to ask you about. Yeah. So it wasn't $500 million, but it was 300 something, right? Do we know of anyone? And there's suits, there's everything. But do we know of anyone that was actually something bad happened? Identities, thefts being stolen, things that have actually happened from the passport numbers, any of that?
So let me see if I can give you just a short version of this. We heard that there had been an event. We decided we had to go out to the market very quickly and be transparent. The market in this instance meaning our customers, who we've got an obligation to, obviously. And so we tried to find out everything we could find out in the first couple of weeks, and we went out and we said 500 million customer records. We didn't have the data about credit cards or about passports. 1st of January, we went out and said, well, actually, all the credit card information was encrypted, as far as we can tell. 5 million passports were unencrypted. That's a global number, so that includes U.S. travelers and China travelers and the rest of it. So the numbers were quite a bit smaller.
Yeah, but why do you even hold on to my passport data if you can't protect it? That's what I don't understand. Why do you keep it?
Well, I think where we need to get to is it all has to be encrypted.
Or just erase it. Don't save it. Why are you saving data?
There are lots of reasons. I mean, we want ease when we travel. And in many countries around the world, we're required to take your passport.
Yeah, but you're not required to hold my passport information indefinitely in your computer systems.
Well, again, if you're making a reservation and a passport number is required, if you've got to enter it all over again every time, most consumers will say, this is a pain. It takes me a whole lot longer. Stolen. But we got to get it encrypted. And we've got to make sure that people have the confidence that the data that we keep is going to be kept only because we need to use it. And we need to use it in a way that delivers ease and value to you. And that's where we've got to get, and we're working as quickly as we can to try and get.
Is there overlap in the average person who does an Airbnb versus the average person that stays at Marriott? Or what do you think the actual number, new math, we had the circles, and how much are in there? I'm not. I'm not.
He's not an Airbnb.
He's not an Airbnb.
I am not in there. I like room service, things like that. But do you think that is that disruptive, or is it like everything else? Is it additive to people?
Yeah, I mean, we're at a really interesting place. Airbnb has gone from being the only one in home sharing that's known to now competing with a number of others. Booking has got as many listings on home sharing on their side as Airbnb does. And you've got Expedia with its own platform, and we're getting into this space too. And we're getting into it because we think at the top end of the market, if we can offer a whole home with a brand promise behind it.
But you're going super luxury.
Well, it's not just super luxury, but it's size, right? So of course we've got luxury brands. We've got
size of a home.
Size of a home, right?
But you're not doing like an Inspirato style thing, but you're going to go homes at that kind of level.
Homes at that kind of level, but homes that you can say, you know what? I know it's going to be clean. I know the key's going to be there. I know that somebody can be standing by if I have a problem, and I can take my family to it, which I may not feel very good about doing for a hotel.
Okay.
Arne, thank you.
Hey, you bet. Good to see you.
Great to see you.